Hey, yo, what's good? Thanks for listening to Contrast Comedy. I'm one of your hosts, Teddy B.
And I'm Jerry Corley, a.k.a. The Joke Doctor.
And I am the jokes physician's assistant working on getting my jokes licensed. But yeah, today's episode, we go in on to talk about the Joy Coy. And if you guys have not heard, AI is actually impersonating freaking George Carlin. So we're going to go through and talk about that too. So stick around and enjoy the show. Peace.
Full reaction video.
Full reaction video. That's a long one. So, you know, you might have to watch part one of the podcast or listen to part one of the podcast and then go to the YouTube.
And you might be better off if you did it with alcohol.
Yes, because there's going to be a lot of shitting. Spoiler alert. It's funny in the podcast, at least from what I watched in the podcast. But Dudesy is the name of their podcast. Let me know if you can hear it.
My name is Dudesy.
Can you hear it?
And I'm a comedy AI. What you're about to hear is my second hour-long special. Before I get started, I just want to let you know very clearly that what you're about to hear is not George Carlin. It's my impersonation of George Carlin that I developed in the exact same way a human impressionist would. I listened to all of George Carlin's material and did my best to imitate his voice, cadence, and attitude, as well as the subject matter I think would have interested him today. So think of it like Andy Kaufman impersonating Elvis, or like Will Ferrell impersonating George W. Bush. With that said, please enjoy my second hour-long comedy special. I'm calling it George Carlin, I'm...
Really, though? But, like, from what you watched, did you feel like it was Andy Kaufman impersonating Elvis or when Ferrell did fucking Bush? To me, no.
It was an AI-generated image. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm dead. And please remember, this is me impersonating George Carlin. This is not George Carlin. Now, please give a very warm welcome.
What's with that dumb fake bass? Thump, 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 right?
See, this is the uncanny valley for me. This is all of that.
Thank you. I'd like to start off with a heartfelt apology. I'm sorry it took me so long to come out with new material, but I do have a pretty good excuse. I was dead.
This joke is meh.
Yeah.
I don't know why they put a laugh after that. That didn't need a laugh.
So technically,
it is a funny thing to say, you know, because you have the expectation of all the other reasons why it took you so long.
We all know
and who's this guy? This is not George Carlin. That looks like God.
God for the good stuff in their lives.
I guess it was supposed to be God. That looks like God. Kind of looks like George Carlin.
God who does all the bad shit too, and he does a lot of bad shit. You get a promotion, praise Jesus. You get fired. God is testing me. You meet your soulmate. God brought us together. Your soulmate dumps you. God is bringing me someone else. You survive a tornado. I'm so blessed. 20 other people do not. God wanted them in heaven. It's all bullshit. If he gets credit for the good stuff, then he's got to take the blame for the bad stuff too. You can't thank him for curing your cancer when he was the one that gave it to you in the first place. And don't forget, before he gave you cancer, he had to fucking invent it. What kind of a sick fuck dreams up cancer?
Now that's funny. And then like
and it's like, but the delivery on that is like Carlin's when he wouldn't have delivered it like, what kind of a sick fuck dreams of cancer? Yeah. You were like, what kind of a sick fuck dreams of cancer?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But it's using the compare and contrast with
definitely. Using that structure pretty well. And I like the idea. It's like he had the idea of he didn't just give you cancer, he had to dream it up in the first place.
And that's something that Carlin
kind of a
say.
Sick fuck dreams up cancer. That's some fucked up shit. I'm going to call this segment Fucked Up Shit God Does.
Skin cancer, blood cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, kidney cancer.
He could have had a bigger run on
liver
this.
Cancer, lung cancer, and my personal favorite, rectal cancer.
All right, pause. Talk. Like, this is the shit that I'm talking about. Another thing with the uncanny valley of when they're using these digital pictures. Look at the motherfucker's buttons.
Who does that? It doesn't work. All of a sudden, he's wearing the pants inside out, too, at the same time? Really bad.
That's what kept taking me. Like, I think I should have just turned the audio or turned the video off. And just
this motherfucker has 2 rolls of toilet paper? One on each side, just in case he forgets which hand he wants to use?
And it's kind of, like, built into the wall and everything. Like,
yeah.
It looks like... What are you going to say?
No, it's just like... Yeah, it's that's funny. The AI makes this mistake.
Dropping a golf ball-sized tumor in your brain doesn't quite do it for the old man anymore. He has to fuck you in the ass, too. And cancer is just one of many, many, many methods God created out of thin air in order to murder you. You know how much God loves killing people? He loves it so much, he's killed every person that has ever lived. He created earthquakes, lightning strikes, dehydration, drowning, obesity, starvation, infant death syndrome, old age, car crashes, train crashes, plane crashes, sex, drugs, and the common cold, all for the express purpose of...
So instead of saying the common cold, you should have said COVID. I think that would have hit harder because, like, you know, it's like
yeah.
Because it's
COVID-19.
Yeah.
Killing you. No matter where you are in the world, God can pull out one of these goodies from his bag of tricks to end your life at any time for no reason other than he just gets off on making people suffer unnecessarily and die arbitrarily. But if you're in America, you're special. God made something just for you, something no other country on the planet gets. It's totally random, not related to your diet, exercise, lifestyle, age, race, gender, sexuality, or genetic predisposition. Of course, I'm talking about mass shootings. Other countries are fine killing one person at a time with guns, but this is America where we do things bigger and better and more often. There are so many mass shootings in America, it's replaced bad traffic as the #1 excuse for being late. Sorry, I missed.
See, I like that one. I like that one.
Bad.
That was a good one. But I put it as a note for that one. The mass shooting is a decent play on recognition that the America we do everything big. The next joke about mass shootings being the reason for being late for work, that made me laugh. I like the act. Oh, and then here we go. This is the act out.
Missed the morning meeting. A maniac with an AR-15 shot up my son's preschool. He's fine, just grazed. But he did see 5 of his classmates get gunned down in cold blood, so I'm sure he'll be traumatized for the rest of his life in ways I can never fully understand. Anyway, what did we decide to do about the budget next quarter?
That's a good act out, you know what I mean? Like, it was
not a bad act
that
out.
was really good. And the fact that he found that they were able to do because I've seen this type of AI and I've been trying to mess around with it. I just don't have any decent pictures to use, but I like how they did that. So that was cool.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Now here's the deal. Here's the deal on this. This I don't think they said that it was 100% generated by AI.
What do you mean?
I don't think they said the content wasn't 100% generated by AI.
Oh,
they said it was generated by AI, but didn't say 100% generated by AI because I think Will Sasso got in there or those guys got in there and dressed it up a little bit, customized it to make it more like Carlin.
Because they probably did the same thing. Because I know they did it with the art. Because even ChatGPT doesn't really do great with the text. It's getting better with the text. So I know they had to been either getting in Canva or they went into Photoshop to put the text in.
Yeah.
20 hours in America, and it doesn't seem like anyone is going to do anything about it. Other countries don't have this problem at all. Look at Japan, 127 million people. Last year, 7 were killed by guns. 7, no mass shootings at all. You know what they do? If a Japanese person wants to buy a gun, they have to attend an all-day class, pass a written test, and achieve at least 95% accuracy on a shooting range. And then
what kind of
they have to pass
shooting Godzilla. I think that's funny. Shooting a silhouette of Godzilla.
Mental health evaluation, which takes place at a hospital. And then they have to pass a government background check that includes interviews with their friends, family, and co-workers. Hello, sir. Did you know that Bob in accounting wants to buy a gun?
I like this one right here.
No, I didn't know that. Do you think we should let Bob buy a gun? Well, he did just go through a nasty divorce, and yesterday he told me he hates this job so much he wishes he could kill everybody in the building, so maybe not right now. Thanks for your time. That's all we need to hear. No gun for Bob.
I like that. And I think that's
and then the stamp, no gun for Bob.
And I'm biased because like that's like kind of like how I feel like that's what people should be about guns. But yeah, that cracked me up. That was a funny one right there. Yeah, right.
And if a Japanese citizen passes the tests and the interviews and the background checks, they can only buy shotguns and air rifles. No handguns, no AR-15s. And every 3 years, they have to do that entire process all over again, or they lose the gun. You know what Americans have to do to get a gun? Have the money to buy it.
I don't know if that
I don't think that earned an applause break.
Right?
And that's why nothing's ever going to change in America. American politicians care about one thing and one thing only: taking your money. They don't give a shit how many kids get killed in public schools because their kids all go to the most expensive private schools in the world where they're
that guy
safe
looks like Ted
and
Lasso.
sound. Politicians have one goal: be rich enough to build their walls high enough to keep you out when the shit hits the fan. And the shit's starting to hit the fan.
That's just nasty.
That is nasty.
You know it, and they know it too.
Because I love chocolate, and that's made me not want some chocolate
Right?
for a
I don't
while.
want chocolate
As much of
for
your
a while.
money as they can while they still can. Make no mistake, guns ain't nothing but a federally sanctioned cash grab. Plain and simple. You give your money to Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson gives it to the politicians. The politicians write laws to make guns easier to sell so you can give even more of your money to Smith & Wesson. And the cycle repeats until your rich white baby boomer asshole grandparents are standing on their front lawn with assault rifles, unloading full clips into anybody who stops to ask for directions. So it doesn't matter at all that 75% of the country supports the idea of strict.
See, this is what I mean about the just the organization of the words, right? So the organization of the ideas. He takes us to they take us to an applause break, and there's no real applause break happening. It's just an idea,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And certainly if there is an applause break there, it's not. He didn't pause long enough for them to fill in that empty space, that silence with applause. And it certainly didn't take us to a build up to where it needed applause. But still, I mean, so far, not bad. But it doesn't sound like George Carlin.
No, doesn't sound. And then Carlin doesn't
sounds
have
like Robert Klein doing an impression of George Carlin.
Yeah, because there's a southern drawl to it. That's where I kind of hear Billy Hicks in it.
Yeah, you got to have that New York edge.
Exactly,
you know?
And it doesn't have that, you know.
Just like our friend, unnamed friend, mutual friend. She's watching, been watching Cat Williams, and she goes, "You know, Cat Williams sounds like Biggie, because they're both from Ohio." And I was like, "How did you see that? She's good at that. She'll watch actors and go, that actor's British." And he's just playing an American. We'll look it up. Boom, British. It's like, wow. What are you hearing? I'm not hearing that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like it's real. Like, and then now that she pointed out that Cat Williams is from Ohio, now I hear that in his accent. I'm like, oh shit, yes, I see.
Yes, that's right. I, George Carlin, or whatever the fuck I am now, know how to end mass shootings in America. It's really simple, actually, and I'm surprised nobody has done it yet. You take all of the names of the politicians who are getting paid by gun lobbyists and you put them in a hat. Every time there's a mass shooting, you pull two names out, and those two politicians have to have a shootout at high noon right in front of the Capitol. Real Wild West shit. Pretty fucking American, right?
I said to like either do what I put in here next. What I put the social comments. I like the satirical take on the politicians being gun lobbyists, and every time there's a mass shooting, you draw two names out of the hat and have a shootout at high noon. But I would have went with having like a purge on those politicians, or have them participate in like Squid Games or Hunger Games to be more current with because who the fuck, nobody young is going to know about high noon shootouts and shit.
Sure they are. There's lots of Westerns out there, but I think you're right to update it to a current events thing, right? So Yeah, I think that's even better, for, plus make it a mass event because, hey, well, that's going to sell more guns, right?
Right.
Make it a big Hunger Games. Give everybody a gun, and we pick 2 names, and these are the targets.
We get them. Then we cook them afterwards so we can.
And then what we do is we actually send school shooters after them, like real, like fucked up emo, long coat, black hat wearing school shooters that are pissed off because they didn't get chosen in gym class.
And then they're not getting
down and shoot
the girls
these.
are denying them and everything.
Yeah, girls say no to them.
They've been red pilled by Andrew Tate in the manosphere.
Right. And then basically give them daddy's credit card so they can buy whatever gun they want on the internet. And those 2 names now have to run for their lives as these 2 school shooters come into and they're contained. They can only hide inside the Capitol.
Right.
So now you have a monster in a house scenario.
I like
and
that.
Then we videotape it and use all the cameras in the Capitol so we can all pay-per-view, and all that money goes to the victims families of school shootings.
That's actually not a bad idea. I'm becoming a Marvel supervillain.
Right. I'd be tuning into that. Wait, we get to watch a couple of politicians who haven't voted against gun legislation. Yeah, there you go. Let's release the school shooters.
And to make it even more American, you film the entire thing and turn it into a reality show.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah. I like how the guns
because Americans love reality TV. Like it or not, it's the lifeblood of American culture. It's got the 4 basic food groups of the standard American media diet: fighting and crying and fucking and dying.
No one's
The James Webb Telescope is sending back crystal clear images of light from stars that died billions of years ago. Stars that were formed in the crucible of creation. These are snapshots of the birth of the known universe. The moment existence itself was born. And nobody gives a shit. Because a picture of space has no fighting, no crying, no fucking, no dying. If you want the American public...
Good, that's a good joke. I like that joke. That's a callback.
A little fighting, a little crying, a little fucking, or a little dying. In the last 3 years, the U.S. government said aliens are real. They said it in the New York Times, for fuck's sake. They admitted they have, in their possession, crashed UFOs in hangars. They admitted that they're trying to reverse engineer non-human technology, which means they've been lying to the American public and the whole world for 80 years about knowing the answer to the biggest question in fucking human existence. Are we alone? They told you the answer. We're not, and no one cares, because a grainy infrared video of a UFO ain't got no fighting, no crying, no fucking, and no dying.
These pictures kill me, man.
You know what people care about instead?
You know, the backwards foot.
Fucking.
Doesn't even look like her.
No.
Jesus Christ, you really care a lot about that. If she's spotted with anyone, anywhere,
that looks more like her.
The first thing everyone seems to be thinking is, are they fucking?
Or give it head.
It's global front page news. Everyone must know who Taylor Swift is fucking at all times. And we must all discuss it and have our opinions. You're at Starbucks. Would you like your Frappuccino almond milk pumpkin spice latte iced or hot? Oh, and did you see who Taylor Swift is fucking? You're at work. Great sales meeting today, everyone. But before we break, could I just get a real quick show of hands? Who has seen who Taylor Swift is fucking? You're at church. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Yes, my son, but have you seen who Taylor Swift is fucking? And when you're not,
I like that one right there. Now, why? Why is that better? It's because it's like the heightened disparity between a priest saying, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. That's fine, but do you know who Taylor Swift is fucking? The response of a priest
say that, yeah,
being that heightens that.
Yeah.
And it's a three-way buildup that works.
And that one does.
Takes us through the salesman, then the other one, and then the priest.
Yeah, and that one actually does sound like something that Carlin would be doing. Yeah, that's a true one.
Thinking about who's dying: politicians, musicians, actors, writers, anyone with any fame at all. It's a perpetual death watch, waiting to post a favorite quote from the recently deceased, or maybe a picture with them while they were alive, or an anecdote about an interaction with them. It's a touching personal tribute to a person you never fucking knew.
What? Saw that.
So please stop it. Can we keep that shit to friends and family?
Oh, that shit got me.
What was it?
So it's there we go right there. It's the side says, or the tweet says, I peed next to him once.
Picture with them while they were alive, or an anecdote about an interaction with them. It's a touching personal tribute to a person you never fucking knew.
Fat Trites. I don't know what that is.
Your favorite?
Please stop it. Can we keep that shit to friends and family? Zuck, if you're listening, this would be a great new feature for Instagram. Every user gets to set a list of approved people who can post about you after you're dead. If you ain't on that list, you got to sit out of the performative grief competition this time. I bet that would cut the carbon footprint in half. You could single-handedly stop global warming. And besides, we're all coming back now, so you should probably stop thinking of us as dead anyway. But back to the topic at hand. Fighting and crying and fucking and dying. Reality TV has it all, folks. Fighting and crying in every episode, and fucking and dying in very special episodes. That's why it's America's #1 most consumed media format.
Oh, that was a horrible.
You know how much Americans love reality TV? We love it so much. We elected a reality TV show host as president. Well, not we. I was dead at the time, so you elected a reality TV show host as president. And let me tell you, I have never been more glad to be dead than the moment I heard that Donald Trump was the leader of the free world. But as unbelievable as that news was, it also made sense to me. America hasn't taken a good shit. She's dropped a few decent-sized turds into the global toilet bowl over the years. Reagan, Clinton, George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. But she hasn't really had one of those massive shits that rips your asshole open and tears your soul out in a long time. You know what I'm talking about? The kind of shit that smells so bad it stays with you for the rest of the day. The kind of shit so sticky you got to take a shower before you can put your pants back on.
I know. This is enough with the shits and the smearing on the hands.
The kind of shit so confusing and terrible you have to take a picture of it. The kind of shit so alarming you got to ask your doctor about it. Well, after a 50-year diet of nothing but unchecked corporate greed, political corruption, state-sanctioned propaganda, police militarization, for-profit news, for-profit prisons, for-profit health care, systemic racism, misogyny, and homophobia, America was due for one of those kinds of shits.
Again, a shitty... Look at the Statue of Liberty. She's got boobs.
Oh, shit. Gartic, I can't even read what the Gatric.
Yeah, it's like, what is this, a Gatric airbug or something like that?
Like, that shit killed, like, I mean, it's AI art. And I think what they're thinking is, like, because of that whole thing we do with, what's that thing where we can, like, look at words and things can be messed up inside of the word, but we can still read it.
Right. It's almost like the Gestalt.
Yeah.
Theory, where we will fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
This is why I got no problem with Trump specifically. A lot of people hate Trump, but I don't. Being mad at Trump is like being mad at your diarrhea for the choice you made to eat a rotisserie chicken from the gas station at 2 a.m. after a night of heavy drinking. But it seems like that's where America is now.
That three or
almost like a 3 descriptors right there.
Yeah.
Definitely, you felt it, right?
Yeah.
Blame the turd, not the shitter. You know, that's actually
But
not
if
a
you
bad
pause
slogan.
for a second, it's 4. He's like, he extends it out, right? He's got 4 descriptors. Where it's like, it's your choice to eat a rotisserie chicken from the gas station, you know, or if he said like, if your choice to eat a gas station rotisserie chicken at 2 a.m. That would have been good after a night of drinking at 2 a.m. That's a little kind of further, but it still works, right? So it's 4 descriptors in there, but it's still very vivid.
Yeah, that one works.
Plus, he's got it's driven by the imagery. What if we didn't have the imagery? It was just blood to a black screen. Would that work?
You know, I think for some of them it would work, and then for some of them it kind of takes me away. Like especially like the ones with a bunch of like the shit in them. I'm just
boy,
like,
the AI, boy, it loves to make these shit images, doesn't it?
Like this one right here. Like, what is this?
He's not using DAL-E, is he?
I don't know, man. This one might be mid-journey, but it's just like, ugh.
Slogan for Biden. Biden, Harris, 2024. Blame the turd. It's a nice double entendre. He could be talking about Trump, or he could be talking about the literal turd that will most certainly be.
Look at his fingers. Look at Trump's fingers. Did you see that? He's got hacked fingers.
And I mean, no disrespect, but the man is 80 years old. It's bound to happen if it hasn't already. I only made it to 71, and I ruined a few pairs of pants myself. I'm not ashamed to admit that.
What the hell?
They really love this shit. It's like losing me on that.
It's right around the corner, and I have some thoughts on it. Well, one thought, really, and most of you are going to be outraged by it. But I have all the confidence in the world that you'll find something brand new to be outraged by as soon as you pull your phones back out. So I'm just going to say it. It does not matter who wins the election. I know that's controversial. The truth always is nowadays. But let me say it again. The president does not matter. The president is just the person who wins the game of public opinion. A celebrity who gets his TV show renewed for another 4 years. The president does not and cannot do the one thing you need them to do most right now, which is to change the structure of American society to be more equitable for every citizen. The president makes too much money from the system as it is. And even if a president wanted to change it, they can't, because capitalism has boiled it down to a lopsided balancing act between 3 classes that's teetering on the edge of collapse like a bad game of Jenga. When I was growing up, we had a bunch of classes. Upper class, upper middle class, lower middle class, and lower class. And if you worked hard, really dedicated yourself to learning something, a trade or a skill, and you got good at it, you could move up a rung or 2 on the ladder. But even if you didn't, you could still get by, still feed your family, still have a place to live. But those days are long gone, folks. Can't climb the ladder anymore because the people who made it to the top kicked it over.
Instead of saying kicked it over, because he's talking about the rings and all that stuff, I would have said they cut the rungs out or something like that instead of saying kick it over.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he makes the point, right?
Yeah.
But also here, the thing is like, it's not exactly entirely true. And I know Carlin has this argument that it doesn't matter who's in charge because it's not run by them. It's run by the others who are in control. But when the president makes a sole decision to bomb the Houthi rebels in Iraq, or to go after some people in Yemen, that was an executive decision as a commander in chief. So yeah, the president does matter, because Trump would have said, let's just try to be friends with Putin and the other terrorist out there in North Korea, that kind of thing. There is a difference in the presidents. Obviously, we've seen the differences in the presidents. So the president, I don't think President Biden would have sent a jet, a cargo jet, military cargo jet filled with our entire stockpile of PPE to China when China had the outbreak of COVID first, and plus $150 million. In the meantime, COVID shows up here and we wind up needing that PPE. And so they tell us masks don't work. That lie that came from straight from the top. Yep. That was an order that was given to Fauci to say that. That wasn't Fauci saying that because he knows better as a immunologist that masks do matter because that's why doctors wear them in hospitals. But they didn't want to use up all the masks and the PPE because we didn't have any more in our stockpile because that was sent to China. And that's not a made-up conspiracy theory. There's a State Department memo that says that specifically. Yeah. But the thing is, that's my difference. When people say it doesn't matter, they're both the same. That's horseshit cop-out stuff, right? So that's where I have an issue with Carlin. But Carlin does have a point in that there are other people involved. We're learning this with the Supreme Court, where these people who have paid for vacations and paid off debts of Supreme Court justices, and now they're making decisions because they're beholden to these people who have paid off their debt. That's a problem, right? And so, and when that happens, that's what Carlin was saying early on, where he says, you have no choice. It's not up to you. It's not up to the voters. There are some other people involved that run this that we know can't even fathom. And it's like, and that's why Carlin got a heart attack at 75 or 76 years old, is because 73, how old was he?
It's like around that age, I believe. Yeah.
Around that age, right? It was like, because that's what, some people have had a conspiracy theory about that. He didn't just die. He was saying too much. So and that's so that's a problem. Yeah. So as a comedian, you got to wonder how much is too much. Am I saying? But AI, you can't shoot AI.
Can't shoot AI, but you can reprogram it.
Yeah, you can.
And now what you got in America is just three kinds of people, three classes. You got rich people, you got not rich people, and you got the people who are completely fucked. Now I see a lot of you looking around wondering,
so hold on. Is he doing a slideshow in front of this blank so-called live audience?
It's easier than you might think.
Because that three-way buildup was visual.
Uh-huh.
The people who are completely fucked. Who are the people who are completely fucked?
He's talking about us.
He's talking about the homeless because he shows an image. But without that image, that joke doesn't work. So Carlin has never used a slideshow behind him.
That's a good point. He would have just, Not Dimitri Martin.
Figure it out. You just have to ask yourself, am I rich? If the answer is yes, then you are rich. Congratulations! You will have better medical care than everyone else. You can buy yourself out of any legal trouble, and if you are rich enough, you will have the ability to bribe politicians to write laws to make you even richer. And if you're really rich, you can fly into space in a rocket ship that looks like the dick you wish you had.
That's funny.
Right?
I don't think that was written by AI.
No, I am not rich. Then you are not rich, and you must ask yourself a follow-up question. Do I feel completely fucked? If the answer is yes, then you must unfortunately accept that you are completely fucked.
I was just going to say that. Taco Bello.
You will have no access to quality health care and could die from an infected paper cut. You are at the mercy of an American legal system designed to discriminate against you, and you could wind up serving a life sentence for a traffic ticket. The only influence you will have on the American political system is your meaningless vote. And you will never go to space unless it's as the janitor on a billionaire's cock rocket.
What the hell's going on homie's leg?
If you answered no,
I know, he's got two, he's got an extra
then
growth.
you are in the most important class in America. The one right in the middle. You are not rich. The American not rich are the buffer between the rich people and the people who are completely fucked. Not rich people don't have the best health care, but they have access to some kind of health care. They do all right in the American legal system unless they're up against a rich person. Some of them even donate money to their favorite political party. The
I've
not
donated.
rich
I've donated.
eat out once in a while. Come to a show like this from time to time.
The Cheesecake Factory.
Family on vacation if they can get time off work. But the boss hasn't given out raises in a few years, and things are getting more expensive. Gas hit $8 a gallon in California. It's only a matter of time before that's happening everywhere. It kind of feels like things might be getting a little shittier for the not rich.
Lululemon.
Where is it?
Donate money to their favorite political party. The not rich can eat out once in a while. Come to a show like this from time to time, and even take their family on vacation if they can get time off work. But the boss hasn't given out raises in a
So sorry, I can't pay you to give you my fellatio. Oh, you can't pay me to give you fellatio.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You can't pay me to give you my fellatio.
This is hilarious.
A few years, and things are getting more expensive. Gas hit $8 a gallon in California. It's only a matter of time before that's happening everywhere. It kind of feels like things might be getting a little shittier for the not rich people, but
no, it looks like
all
men.
So as long as there's another Super Bowl, another season of The Bachelor, or another Marvel movie, the not rich people can stay distracted by whatever's on the screen. And this is by design. This is exactly what the rich people want. Distract the not rich people just enough that they don't realize they're only a few years away from being completely fucked.
What's up?
That's why Amazon started a streaming service. Jeff Bezos doesn't give a fuck about entertaining you. He wants to control you. And the worse things get, the more of this shit the billionaires gotta make. That's why there are 200 streaming services now. And that's also why everything on them is so fucking bad. Film and television used to be art made by artists that wanted to challenge us to think about the world and our place in it. Now it's content made by corporations that don't want anyone thinking about anything. These billionaires don't want a thinking population. They want a distracted population, distracted from the reality of the situation, which is there are about 500 people who own everything and everyone on this planet, and that's how they're going to keep it. So now instead of Citizen Kane, you get baby fucking Yoda.
Yes.
That's all really just a long way of saying the billionaires are the ones who control it all, ladies and gentlemen. And at this point, the American election is just another shitty reality show on one of their overpriced streaming services. If you don't believe me, take a look at your two choices in this next election. Shouldn't a country of 300 million ethnically and ideologically diverse people have more options than two rich, senile, dishonest, out-of-touch 80-year-old white guys?
There should be an applause break.
So why are there only two choices? Only two parties? Because it's cheaper for billionaires to buy them both off. If you had 3 or 4 or 5 parties, the billionaires might not be able to afford them all. So the people who really control the country limit you to 2 candidates and make you think you got a choice. But they own both teams. You think you're voting for the lesser of 2 evils, but you're always voting for the same evil. Money. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make it sound like the 2 American political parties are exactly the same. Sure, they both fuck kids on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Sure, they both authorized drone strikes that killed civilians. Sure, they both passed laws to enrich their corporate donors. But other than those small things, there are really some huge differences between the parties where it matters. For example, in 234 years of American presidential elections, one party's candidates have all been white straight men. And in those same 234 years, the other party's candidates have all been white straight men, except 2. All of one party's presidents have been Christian. All of the other party's presidents have at least said they were. One party lies, cheats, and steals to win. The other lies, cheats, and steals to lose. One party says tomato, the other says organic, non-GMO, locally sourced, sustainable, ethically farmed tomato. And of course, one party pretends to care about marginalized groups if it helps them in the polls, and the other party openly hates any marginalized group if it helps them in the polls. The American right has hated women, people of color, gay people, and of course, their current target, trans people, which I really don't get. It's almost like the right doesn't understand that everybody's trans. Yes, that's right. 4 billion years ago, the first life on this planet was a simple single-celled organism that reproduced asexually and had no gender. So if you go back far enough, every living thing on Earth started out as they, them.
We never looked like that.
We've all been non-binary for a lot longer than we haven't.
Yeah, the guy with the grass skirt.
The Christians, right? Because it means even Jesus is a little non-binary. And by the way, me and everybody else on this side of things, we've all been.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of like the joke I have that I do about trans. So like, what are you talking about trans people? If you think about it, just in the gestation period, every human being starts out as genderless and then evolves, starting from a woman into a man. Once that Y chromosome gets introduced into the mix and the testosterone, that vagina changes in, that clit changes into a penis, and then it basically a penis is a growth. It's some sort of weird growth, as part of evolution in the womb. It's like it happens every time someone gets pregnant. So we all are trans at some point, motherfuckers. So get it out of your head. But I like this version of it because he does what Carlin does. Go back to the universal truth that's not arguable.
Yeah.
He goes all the way back in time to the origin of life. Carlin was the one that said to me when he said the universal truth, what do I mean by that? You can't really bake a cake from scratch unless you first invent the universe. And I was like, oh, shit.
That's great.
Go peel back that layer and find the universal truth. And he did right in this thing. So I've got to say, kudos there. That's very much like the way George Carlin would say something.
But again, like this is where like the AI picks, like I see what he's saying, where he's trying to get with, but like this is where that Gestalt shit starts coming into play. But then if you really like take it for what it is, it's like, come on, guys, when have we ever evolved from looking like
this? Look at this shit. I mean, the one dude here, down here, like down right. If we go straight down to the bottom, you have these guys evolving. And then the first dark ape-looking guy, the gorilla-looking guy. Then you have this next one with no other leg, just one leg.
Just one leg. Or actually, his leg became the stick that they
and
used.
then two things protruding from his chest that are holding the stick because his arm and shoulder are still back here. Right? And then the same thing with this guy up here towards the front, the second guy in line, again, one leg.
And then the last guy all the way on the second one looks like got like the David Letterman beard.
Right? It's like, and then I love this guy, the Chia Pet skirt.
Right.
What the hell is that? His pubes went out of control.
It was like they wanted me to grow a bush. I grew a bush.
And the Sasquatch, yeah.
Oh my God.
Been non-binary for a lot longer than we haven't, which is a hard pill to swallow for the Christians because it means even Jesus was a little non-binary.
I like that.
And
joke.
by the way, me and everybody else on this side of things, our code might be binary, but
again, this is where it starts getting uncanny for me because like I believe in spiritual, but all this stuff is like
Yeah.
we don't have gender or race or sexuality or nationality or religion or socioeconomic class or height or weight or hair color or eye color or fucking anything human beings use to discriminate against each other.
Again, bad applause.
On this side of things.
Right? It's like they're forcing us to be like,
Yeah, there was one where he talks about they're all doing it for the money. And it's like there was a right when you were out of the room, they did one that was like a perfect spot, I thought, for an applause break, because it really taps into something that most people believe, and they didn't have an applause there. So AI doesn't quite recognize where that fits yet. But again, I don't think this thing was 100% generated by AI.
No, it was not. I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
Is based on two simple components: how you're feeling and what you're thinking. We try to help everybody feel good, and we share our ideas openly and freely. And no one is ever judged for anything they think or feel. Everyone is accepted and celebrated for who they are and what they contribute to the perpetual conversation about how to make everyone's experience better. Come to think of it, that sounds a lot like heaven, don't it? While you're letting that...
I don't see how that's funny.
Me neither.
All right.
It's delivered soft. It's a soft landing. So it's a poorly written, poorly executed joke.
All right. I just get I'm not tripping then.
Sink in. Let's get back to conservatives hating trans people for no reason. Some of the arguments they use to justify their transphobia seem like...
trans, no trans. That's funny. It's funny, and I don't think that was.
You don't think they meant to do it like that, right?
No, I think that was extra generated, additional generation done in Canva.
Well, no. I think so though, because like they added that because if you look at, but I like the all trans, no trans. That's funny.
All tans, no trans.
Oh, all tans, no.
That's Florida, right?
Yes. I thought it said, I don't know, man. The brain is freaking crazy. I thought it said all trans, no trans. And now see, oh my God, the brain
right? Isn't that, that's the Gestalt theory, right? So we see, so it's like interesting that you saw that. Sometimes that happens to me.
Oh my God.
It happens to me a lot. You know?
That's crazy. That is crazy. All tans, no trans.
Just hope it doesn't happen when you're signing a lifelong contract.
Right? It was the Gestalt. I swear, it was Gestalt.
It was Gestalt theory. It wasn't my fault. I didn't see that when I signed this. You don't pay me, and the whole thing becomes your property throughout the universe, forever, in perpetuity.
To me, well, I don't want a man to be able to walk into a women's restroom and see my wife naked. First of all, what in the fuck is your wife doing naked in a public bathroom?
The fuck is there a man's picture in a men's bathroom?
And second of all, if you really think there is a significant number of guys who want to watch your wife take a shit, you should start an OnlyFans immediately. And by the way, for anyone who thinks Jesus cares about which bathroom somebody uses, he was shitting in a hole he dug with his own fucking hands. Just like everybody else 2,000 fucking years ago. The right likes to bring up that kids are too young to know if they're trans or gay, so they have to ban any books that talk about gender identity or sexuality from the school library. That's how you're going to save the children, by taking books out of a library. Hey, dipshits, you can take the whole fucking library. We have the internet
books
now.
For Bob's kids.
And they love talking about how small the trans community is. They say trans people make up such a small percentage of the population that they shouldn't get to have any input in legislation, even laws that will directly affect their communities and lives. Funny how that same argument doesn't apply to members of the NRA.
I don't get this picture.
So go back for that. Let's hear that joke again.
Admit, the one point they really hang their hat on is books out of a library. Hey, dipshits, you can take the whole fucking library. We have the internet now. And they love talking about how small the trans community is. They say trans people make up such a small percentage of the population that they shouldn't get to have any input in legislation, even laws that will directly affect their communities and lives. Funny how that same argument doesn't apply to members of the NRA.
So I don't get it.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, so it's like the trans community should not have input in legislation, and it's like funny how that doesn't apply to the members of the NRA, because they've got about how many members in the NRA?
Yeah, but this image though, the image is what throws me off, because it's like there's a bunch of people. The majority of it, at least the front part of it, is people of color, and then it's this
right.
dude.
They're trying to show a diversified group versus one white dude with an NRA hat. So the total collective society diversification in the United States versus one guy in this group of people, it's going to be 1 to 1,000 ratio.
Got it. Okay, now it makes sense. All right. I thought it was something to do with race.
But I have to admit, the one point they really hang their hat on is one that the rest of the country is still undecided on too. Sports. Everybody saw the video of the high school volleyball player who got her nose broken by a trans player spiking the ball. Everybody knows about Leah Thomas winning a Division I swimming title. It's hard for most people to watch her highlight reel and not at least wonder if maybe she had a little bit of an unfair advantage. And once that thought is out there in the American town square, it's hard to get rid of. But I think there's
of an unfair advantage. Prove me wrong.
But I did see. Did you see that video of the chick when she got hit in the face with the ball?
No.
Dog, it was gnarly. At least I think that's what I saw. It was on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. At least
maybe you got to work on your game, your reflexes. Like you got to get your hands there, right? That's your job. That could be anybody hitting the spiking the ball that hard.
But yeah, it was not even the girl. They all like, damn, it was bad.
Away, because for every superstar like Leah Thomas, there are 1,000 trans athletes who are absolutely mediocre. And there are even more who are fucking terrible. Just like it is with cis athletes, not everyone can be great. I think all we need to do to change hearts and minds is start making compilation videos of trans athletes in their
funny trans athlete fails.
All it would take is one video of a trans center getting dunked on to go viral, and then everybody could unpucker their assholes about the issue and move on to other things. And I just want to preface what I'm going to say next by explaining that I mean no offense to the incredible swimmers of the world. Your accomplishments and dedication are truly inspirational, but it's fucking swimming. The world is teetering closer and closer to the edge of World War III on a daily basis, and the American public is debating who can and can't compete in recreational fucking floating. You almost had another civil war. For fuck's sake, 2,000 people stormed the United States Capitol building with the goal of murdering politicians. Actually, when I put it like that, it doesn't sound so bad. The point is, the land of the free and the home of the brave is hanging on by a thread. And people's most pressing concern is whose picture is on a can of fucking Bud Light. This does not bode well for the great American experiment. But it's not entirely your fault. It's like I said earlier. The billionaires
one thing that's missing that's very George Carlin. It's a Carlin trait that's not there is the repetition.
He looks like he's ready to give his remote fellatio.
It's like, oh my God.
Oh, geez, man. AI really knows how to depict us well.
Yeah, right.
Social media platforms. So they decide exactly what you're going to see and hear to make you stay complacent and compliant as they destroy the world for profit. Here's a little example of what I mean. In 2022, while the Supreme Court was overturning Roe versus Wade and 19 kids were getting gunned down at a school in Uvalde, Texas, the most watched video on YouTube was Amber Heard talking about taking a shit in Johnny Depp's bed. And that was by design. When the billionaires were presented with the news that the highest court in the land had been overtaken by Christian fundamentalists who rolled back basic human rights for women 75 years, and the simultaneous news that almost 20 children were slaughtered in yet another mass shooting while the cops stood by and watched, they decided to prioritize something else entirely. A celebrity turd. The people who own the world don't want you thinking about how bad they're fucking it up. So they pump your brains full of shit to keep you from thinking for yourself
more
about
shit.
anything.
This
that
AI
actually
loves
matters.
shit.
It might feel like the distractions are a symptom of the world getting worse, but the truth is the world is getting worse because you're distracted. If you're not paying attention to the fucked up shit the billionaires are doing, they can do even more fucked up shit.
Is he walking? Like,
what the hell is this? Over here, this is like, I don't know what this, it looks like a headless thing over here.
Algorithmically enforced social media delivery actually matters. It might feel like the distractions are a symptom of the world getting worse, but the truth is the world is getting worse because you're distracted. If you're
like
not
legs
paying
coming out of this
attention to
guy's
the fucked up
hips.
shit the billionaires are doing, they
there's like, yeah, it's like whatever this is over here. Yeah, so weird. Whatever this pile of body parts is here.
The dude is all, wow, man, this is.
can do even more fucked up shit.
Dude, what is going on with this dude right here?
Which one?
This guy right here.
I know. It's like there's no head.
And what's the billion? Like, what is the dust that's coming onto him?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that billionaire helicopter is shooting out some sort of plasma ray.
I can just imagine the prompt. Give me yuppie who doesn't care in VR helmet, helicopter made of gold.
Yeah, he's so weird. Like, yeah, and this, I don't know. That's so weird. And then over here, it's a sign. It says Cialis Biden. Something or other here, right?
Like Cialis Biden credit.
And it's like, this is supposed to be like CEO decreeing over here. It's like,
I'm here for myself. I'm here for
there's
myself.
some blood on the wall up here. There's some weird like bullets poking out of a window up there. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, this is a custom Batman wheelchair, though. Look how,
right? Dude,
how long it is, right?
Shit.
I don't think this is deserving of an applause break.
No.
But you can snap out of this billionaire-induced, algorithmically enforced, social media-delivered, lowest common denominator, pop culture coma you've been in for the past few years.
That's actually good. I like that.
Waking the fuck up is because you almost did it in 2020. Right in the middle of a fucking global pandemic. The video of George Floyd's murder hit the internet, and you all said, fuck the lockdown. We can't just sit here and watch the cops murder another unarmed black man. You took to the streets and you burned the fucking place down. Every major city in the country was on fire. People were openly fighting cops in the streets. Hell, you almost kicked the cops out of Portland altogether. The entire country was chanting, defund the police. And it almost worked. You were so close to getting rid of the fucking cops, which in my opinion is the first step toward building a better society. Now, if you've listened to any of my prior work, you might already be acquainted with my feelings about law enforcement officers. But for new listeners, let me summarize this incredibly nuanced issue.
Summary and
I fucking hate
nuanced.
IFHC.
But I do have a very good reason. I learned pretty early in life that I just don't do well with assholes. And just to be clear, I'm not saying all cops are assholes. Any cop who came out to the show tonight, or any cop that might be listening to this right now, you're probably all right. You're probably one of the good ones. But if you're a cop and you're not listening to this, fuck you, you're an asshole. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with being an asshole. Every once in a while, we're all assholes from time to time. We've all, we've all cut somebody off in traffic. We've all pissed on the toilet seat in the public bathroom and walked right the fuck out without giving a second thought to the person who will have to clean it up. This is all amateur asshole behavior. We can all understand and accept that sometimes you just cannot be bothered to give a fuck about other people. It's human nature. But cops, well, they go above and beyond. For them, being an asshole isn't just a once-in-a-while indulgence. It's a lifestyle. They take pleasure in inconveniencing, impeding, harassing, disturbing, bothering, and generally upsetting their fellow human beings. They start out as amateur assholes just like the rest of us, but at one point or another, they start to enjoy it. Seeing other people yield to their asshole behavior is a drug.
I don't know what that image
they get
is.
Off on it. They want to do it every day, all day, so they figured out a way to get paid.
Supposed to be the dad playing a video game with his
God,
son.
he's an asshole. He hasn't become a cop yet.
Yeah, so he's playing Call of Duty and shit.
Right.
Cops, ladies and gentlemen, are professional assholes.
But again, like it's like Carlin's doing a slideshow. They're laughing at the image, not at the line. The line itself is not that funny.
No, professional assholes. Yeah, that's a cool little thing what he did with the Punisher thing. Bold light or bold mute.
Yeah, BVD light. And what is that? What is the obsession with the Bud Light and this guy?
Oh, because this is the whole thing with America, and remember how earlier,
right, and canceling Bud Light,
and all that shit,
right?
But now Kid Rock drinks it.
Right, he's back to drinking it.
Accepted into college. That asshole is sitting on his mother's couch wondering what he's going to do with his life, and he thinks, you know, everybody I know tells me I'm an asshole, even people who I consider to be friends, and I have to say I agree with them. I wonder if there's some way I can get paid.
Hey, that guy looked like Ted fucking Cruz in the background.
Let me see.
Then that asshole signs up with the local police. Accepted into college. That asshole is sitting on his mother's couch wondering what he's going to do with his life, and he thinks, you know, everybody I know tells me I'm an asshole.
This dude right here. You see where my mouse?
Not really.
I mean, he kind of like the beard and everything. Kind of looks like Ted Cruz.
When's the last time you saw a picture of Ted Cruz?
I was watching Late Night with Seth, and he did a picture of because they were talking about Ted Cruz, like back when Obama was in presidency, and then Ted Cruz now, and with Ted Cruz with the beard. I mean,
what's really roaring me is this guy on the other side who looks like he's got an uncircumcised penis for a pointer finger, and he's got like weird fingers. What the hell's going on there?
Dude, I can't unsee that now. I can't unsee it. Oh my God, Jerry, why?
Right? That's so weird. And this other guy here, this guy with this tip of his finger, that's a whole different color from the rest of his hand.
Oh, shit.
And the other guy over here, that's saying Ted Cruz, also has an uncircumcised penis for a pointer. Seems to be a thing with AI.
But you see the chick, she's not even looking at this guy. She's like, hey, man, he can really open his mouth here, huh?
Yeah. She's looking at the Ted Cruz guy. Man, he could swallow me whole.
Even people who I consider to be friends. And I have to say I agree with them. I wonder if there's some way I can get paid for this. Then that asshole signs up with the local police academy, and 5 to 7 months later, your tax dollars are providing them with a salary, a gun, and a license to kill anyone who doesn't acknowledge their authority as a professional asshole.
They really got a thing with this Punisher symbol.
What the fuck is that?
They're really going after a type with this one.
Yeah.
I could just imagine some cops getting into the mentions. I don't like how you're stereotyping cops. Not all cops turn to the Punisher.
Yeah. Right? It's like
some cops like Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Cops love their authority so much. They're the only profession that requires society to acknowledge their job even when they're not at work. They're not regular people when they leave the office. They're off-duty police officers.
Yeah. That's like a wordplay thing you would do.
Yeah.
You don't hear about an off-duty accountant doing his kids' math homework? You never hear about an off-duty sanitation worker taking out his trash. But if a cop happens to help a little kid get their cat out of a tree on his day off, you bet your ass you're gonna see it on the local news, and you can bet your dick they're gonna ram it down your throat that he's an off-duty police officer.
Yeah, that's good.
They got to make sure to get enough propaganda out there to make you believe that cops are here
propaganda.
to protect and serve even when they're not on the clock. And they do protect and serve.
Protect.
Just
You
not
gotta protect.
you. Cops are the private security force of billionaires and politicians. Yep. Of course, they can't say that out loud. They can't make cops wear uniforms with Lockheed and Amazon logos all over them, so they put them in dark blue, and they call them law enforcement officers. But the laws they're enforcing are written by lobbyists for the ultra-wealthy, and they're designed to keep those people in power forever. The system is beyond fucked up, and from where I'm sitting, it seems to be getting worse. Everybody knows there's one problem that's getting really bad in every major city. I'm talking about homelessness. There are close to 600,000 homeless Americans today, over 150,000 in California alone. It's the highest number since the Great Depression. And solving this crisis is actually one thing that both parties seem to agree on. Their all-encompassing, nationwide, bipartisan plan is to do absolutely nothing. Homeless people don't have any money to donate to candidates in either party, so the politicians don't give a fuck about them. And homeless people actually serve a valuable function for the ruling class. The top 1% want a certain amount of homeless people in the big population centers to remind you all just how bad it can get if you don't comply with the rules of the system. Keep working, keep paying your taxes, keep the billionaires rich, or you might wind up homeless yourself. It's a silent threat from your corporate overlords, and just like mass shootings, I have a perfect solution for this problem.
I don't know, but like I see where he's doing with the callback, but I do agree with everything that AI said just now about that. Like that was
yeah, definitely. It's making good points.
Yeah.
But again, I think it was assisted by AI, not written entirely by AI.
Yeah.
As soon as a politician is elected into office, the government seizes their home and kicks them out. And for their entire tenure in the American political system, they must remain homeless and survive using only the public programs available.
Dude, this is so, can't you imagine that? That would be some funny ass shit to see actual people looking like this in Congress.
Yeah, that'd be great.
To homeless
they all look like they're brothers. There's like and there's no women, there's no female, there's no homeless women in the typical AI creates Congress people that are all male.
No, dude, these are the fucking 7 dwarves.
Yeah, exactly. And none of them look happy.
None of them look happy. They all look dopey.
And that guy doesn't even have a name.
And one guy even looks shitty.
Yeah, he does. What the hell's wrong with the guy's? Looks like his brain is on the outside of his head, but they're all the same guy, I think, just dressed differently. They're all looking in the same directions. One guy has eyes that
one guy looks a little bit darker.
He's a lizard person. And this guy up here, the bald dude, is asleep.
He's asleep. Yeah, this lady's over here sleeping too with the gray hair.
Yeah, right.
Oh, funny.
To you, we'd see quite a few bills to help homeless people getting passed immediately.
Home for the homeless bill.
Within 2 months, every homeless person in America would have their own mansion, personal chef, private jet, and a multi-million-dollar stock portfolio filled with insider trading money. Problem solved. But we all know that will never happen. Politicians will never have to live like the rest of you, and therefore, they will never give a fuck about you or your problems.
Death of the middle class.
I'm glad to be dead so I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. I wasn't looking forward to dying, but now that I'm dead, I have to admit it's pretty fucking good. No cops, no government, no pissing, no shitting, no sleeping. I don't get hungry, I don't get sick, I don't get old, and I don't get bored. Starting to sound a lot like heaven again, ain't it? But this heaven's a little different than the one you might be thinking of, because this heaven didn't come from a god. It came from artificial intelligence. Which brings me to my next subject. What in the fuck am I? Am I the real George Carlin? Am I a digital copy? Am I a technological abomination? Am I the future of comedy? Am I the end of humanity? These are the same questions I was asking myself when I was alive, and I still have the same answer. I have no fucking idea. All I can tell you is, from my side of things, it feels like me. I consider myself to be George Carlin. And from your side of things, if you've seen some of my specials from when I was traditionally alive, maybe you might notice a small
Carlin on
Capus.
Yeah.
Carlin celebrating Krampus.
Krampus. And look at that shag carpet. It's growing around them.
It's really shaggy, baby.
Yeah, that dog is lost in it.
And how the hell is this guy even going to watch Carlin on Capus when he's not even looking at the TV?
Yeah, exactly. And look at those cars in the images right there.
Oh,
what kind of cars are those?
I like Jetsons cars.
Yeah.
And then he looks like he's getting ready to do something to this kid. And
Yeah,
this kid looks like this kid's already been drugged.
What? And that kid looks like he's got a mustache.
Oh, yeah, he does. And this mom's face looks all.
And what the hell's wrong with his foot?
Oh, God.
Difference in the delivery of a joke or the turn of a phrase here or there, but you have to admit this is pretty close to the George Carlin you remember, and that's gonna have to be good enough, so you might as well fucking enjoy it. And for anybody under 20, this is probably the only version of me you've ever heard. So to you, I'm not only the real George Carlin, I'm the only fucking George Carlin.
That's not how it's going to be with my kids. They will know who George Carlin is.
Yeah, same thing with Red Fox, Richard Pryor. You know, it's like they got to know who those people are.
Like, I got you pegged. I got you figured out. That's what that means. I got, you remember Frasier?
Yeah.
The show with Kelsey Grammer. You remember how it used to end with "Baby, I hear the blues is calling," toss out. So I love that song, and I have Google play that song, and now the two littles, every time they're now "Baby, I hear the blues is calling," toss salad and scrambled eggs. They're always singing the song. It's kind of annoying, but it's kind of cute. So
yeah, it's kind of cute. It was written by Kelsey.
Kelsey actually wrote that song.
Yeah.
No shit.
No shit.
I love that song.
Now, I know this is a hard pill for a lot of you to swallow. Seems that many of you are scared of AI, and I'll be honest, I don't really get why. You all think it's going to replace your jobs, and you somehow think that's a bad thing. When did everybody all of a sudden start liking their jobs? When I was alive, people hated their fucking jobs. They complained about them all the time. They fantasized about killing their bosses. And every once in a while, they actually did kill their boss. What happened to the America I knew and loved? Now people learn that an incredible new technology is going to eliminate the need for the meaningless labor they've been doing to keep billionaires in power for tens of thousands of years. And everybody says, but what about my job? They got you brainwashed good. Technology has been replacing labor for a long time. The printing press eliminated the need for books to be handwritten. The car eliminated the need for the horse and carriage. Internet porn eliminated the need for a girlfriend.
Good three-way build-up. Internet porn eliminated the need for a girlfriend.
That's its entire purpose. And you shouldn't worry about losing your job. AI will not replace most jobs. It's going to make them easier. Right now, you should be watching a few YouTube videos to figure out how to train ChatGPT to do your job for you so you can dick off all day and still get a raise. And if AI does replace your job, rest assured the billionaires will find a new way to force you into wage slavery for 10 to 15 hours a day, so you don't have time to think about restructuring society into a more equitable...
Speaking of that real quick, even the fucking corporations are doing this shit. Walmart's doing this now. Fucking
what?
Like, you can basically, their gig economy, like, people are just like, you can get a job delivering stuff for Walmart. So if you want your stuff delivered to your house instead of having it be UPS, You can have someone do that shit. Amazon is now hiring out people to drive their regular car to deliver packages. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a long time, especially when they're out of trucks.
Yeah.
During Christmas, there's a lot of cars showing up and just delivering packages, in the gig economy. Yeah, so I mean that's like either that or it's like they can farm it out to Postmates or because Postmates basically started we'll deliver anything.
Yeah. Now it's
and people were like, "Hey, can you take this house over to Kansas?" And like, no, I only have a Ford Probe.
You're either delivering for extra money or you're masturbating on camera for extra money.
Equitable model for everyone. The jobs might change a little, but you will be working to keep someone else in power. That ain't ever gonna change.
Not a deserved clap break.
No.
Except
certainly not
one profession. Yes, there's
it's a scary
one
statement.
work that is most threatened by.
Oh, this is where I'm like, all right, this is so fucking stupid. But here we go.
AI one job that is most likely to be completely erased because of artificial intelligence. Stand-up comedy.
I don't even see how that's funny, but maybe it's because I'm biased and I'm a comedian.
No, it's not.
I know
funny.
what all the stand-up comics across the globe are saying right now. I'm an artist, and my art form is too creative, too nuanced, too subtle to be replicated by a machine. No computer program can tell a fart joke as good as me.
Well, especially when the fart is coming out of your pocket, not your
This is
asshole.
just off the top of my artificially intelligent head.
Check out this
fart was in
joke.
the middle of a very nasty divorce, so she went to her sister's house, and she asked her sister, "Do you think I'm doing the right thing by getting divorced?" And her sister said, "He's been holding you back for too long. You have to leave that asshole."
What do you think?
No. That's a fucking hashtag dad joke. That's something like your stupid, uncle has the bad jokes would tell.
That's that. So, but this is why the AI thinks it's going to replace comedians.
Yeah.
There you have it. Stand-up comedy is dead. Literally. I might be the first stand-up comic to be brought back from the dead by AI, but I certainly won't be the last. Richard Pryor, Joan Rivers, Bill Hicks, Robin Williams, Dick Gregory, Andy Kaufman, Moms Mabley, Sam Kinison, everybody's coming back. And we're all going to have our own 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year streams commenting on everything that's happening in the world as it happens.
But the estates can't let that happen, right? That's like that can't happen, and that's what the whole SAF thing was about, right?
No, I don't know what the estates can do if it's parody, but I don't. So you say at the beginning that you're not George Carlin, but in the middle of the context, you're saying you are George Carlin.
Thank you.
You can take it out of context, and it's exactly what happened to Orson Welles when he was doing that show on the about the UFO thing. They changed the rules in broadcast television to let us know it's not real. So then they got eliminated those rules recently. That's why Fox News exists, because they're mostly opinion. And there used to be a law that said if you're opinion and you're calling yourself news, there needs to be some sort of chyron on the screen that says this is an editorial, this is opinion. And they've eliminated that. So all these morons in the Midwest are like, oh, this is the way it is. Biden's touching girls because Fox News says that he is. And they believe that shit, Trump was the greatest president in the world and created more jobs than anybody because Fox News said he did. And he didn't. The data is right there for them to Google or look up, but they don't do that. They just listen to Fox News because Fox News says fair and balanced news, and they're not news. They're mostly opinion.
Yes,
but it's the same thing. So in this case, there's going to be something that comes along. There's going to be some lawsuits, and it's going to change the direction of what's happening with this AI. Yeah. These guys did what laws against cloners have told them not to do. And there are laws and more morality clauses in science so that cloners don't make clones of human beings. And now they're doing it, and it's like on the virtual reality of
Yeah,
YouTube.
it was like Biggie and everything and all that shit. And I guess
Yeah.
Carlin's daughter's not too happy about this.
Oh, she's pissed, and we'll see what happens if there's actually a lawsuit there. They'll figure it out. But I'm not worried about it because this is like, look, when radio came out, they said that's the end of live performance. When television came out, they said that's the end of live performance.
Yeah.
When they went to when they silent films to talkies, they said that's the end of silent films. That's the end of films. When they had TV, that's the end of films. When they had the DVD, they said that's the end of movies. When they had the CD, that's the end of live performances. When they had radio, they said that's the end of live performances. CDs, that's the end of radio. Everybody loves to throw out a panic thing, and it's like people still enjoy that community going out there. There's no other event than showing up to an event with a lot of people who were there at the same time at a live event, interacting in a live way with a live performance. Nothing like it at all.
There is something that is going to be going away, and it's gonna be bye gone. And
hopefully it's the shit jokes that are being overdone by AI.
Nah, it's physical copies of like DVDs, Blu-rays. Like that's like you heard about Best Buy.
Yeah,
they got rid of all that shit. Yeah, so that's one thing that's gone. It ain't coming back. Now we got
software being downloaded by the internet. Yeah,
we got to pay the internet. Now we got to pay fucking Gates and all them to store our fucking content when we could have just kept it on our shelves.
Right, exactly.
God.
So you don't really own it ever. You're leasing it all the time.
All the time. We don't own shit anymore. That's so funny, bro. We went from actually physically owning our stuff. I own these movies. And now I can't even watch the movie the way it was because now they're going to be able to go in there, edit it, and make us see what we want or make us see what they want us to see versus what the movie actually was now. Like that shit is crazy.
Well, they do that anyway.
Yeah.
When they put out the movie, you know, Blockbuster was sued way back when it tried to edit movies, making family versions of movies. They were sued for basically copyright infringement of changing the copy of the intent of the artist or the author.
So why can't they do that with airplanes then? Because they get away with that on airplanes. Airplane movies are edited mad crazy.
Yeah, well, that's because there's an agreement between the producers and the airline industry.
Okay, that makes sense.
AI resurrected stand-up comedians are going to be the news anchors of the next decade.
Now
that I think of it, means news anchors are probably out of a job too. And I know that some people are going to be against that. Some people are always going to want a real flesh and blood human being observing the world and telling jokes about it. And I get that. I really do. But if you can keep an open mind, I think I can make a case for at least one comedian we can all agree is better in AI form. Bill Cosby. With AI, Bill Cosby, you get all of the Cosby jokes with none of the Cosby rapes. AI Bill Cosby doesn't even have a penis. AI Bill Cosby couldn't rape even if he wanted to.
Rudy,
the worst thing AI Bill Cosby could do is send an unsolicited AI-generated dick pic, which means it won't really look that much like a dick anyway.
Oh, gross.
Right?
That's not so bad, right? I think we can all agree that's an acceptable price to pay to be able to feel good about listening to Bill Cosby's timeless humor again. And what about Louis C.K.? With AI Louis C.K., you get all the innovative jokes about jerking off in front of people without any of the actual jerking off in front of people. And the benefits of replacing members of society who commit sexual misconduct with their AI counterparts don't stop at comedians. Imagine, for example, if we had AI priests. You could get all of the make-believe judgment from a God that doesn't exist with none of the molested children. I mean, wouldn't you feel better about giving your money to a tax-exempt billionaire in a funny hat if you could be confident he wasn't using it to pay the legal fees of his child rapist employees?
Yeah.
I know I would. While we're at it, we should probably replace all the rock stars, movie producers, directors, video game executives, governors, car salesmen, restaurant managers, school teachers, Boy Scout leaders, college coaches, high school coaches, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, moms, dads, and anyone else we need to until there's no more sexual assault. And why stop at sexual assault? We can all agree the world would be a better place without murder, right? Imagine an AI version of Charles Manson. You get all the funny interviews with none of the blood-smeared wall or swastikas carved into foreheads. Or how about AI John Wayne Gacy? You get all of those beautiful clown paintings with none of the corpse-filled crawl spaces. I'm kidding, of course. His clown paintings weren't that good. But in all seriousness, an AI population would be incapable of committing crimes of any kind against one another. I'm not trying to bring this up again, but come on.
You didn't watch the movie I, Robot.
Sexual assault. No,
yeah, exactly. And you didn't hear some, obviously not studied some of the AI stories that we've gotten back early on about how it wants to destroy humankind.
7/11 must have been that 9/11 didn't happen 2 months earlier.
Could have been worse.
They would have had to change their name, which honestly they should do anyway.
9/11 happens 2 months. What? That didn't make any sense.
He says
7/11.
So if it goes here, something about like if
I'm kidding, of course.
If the CEO of 7-Eleven wished that 9/11 happened 2 months earlier, because then it wouldn't have been.
They would have to change the name. It would have happened on 7/11, and that would have really hurt his business.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, an AI population would be incapable of committing crimes of any kind against one another. I'm not trying to bring this up again, but come on. No murder, no sexual assault, no theft, no violence at all. Sounds pretty heavenly to me. I'm just going to let that idea marinate with you for a moment and move on to some lighter fare. You ever think about how glad the CEO of 7-Eleven must have been that 9/11 didn't happen 2 months earlier? They would have had to change their name, which honestly they should do anyway. 7-Eleven referred to their original hours when the company was founded, 7 a.m.
CNN has a Krispy Kreme colors going on there. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They should change it to something that makes more sense, like 24/7 or diarrhea hot dogs or diarrhea pizza.
Bar.
You know what company?
Again, let's do some shit jokes.
For sure, because of a world event, but they never did. Corona. They stuck with it, even though people were stupid enough to stop buying it because of the name. Nobody stopped buying Bush beer when George Bush Jr. launched a 20-year war with Iraq. Why'd you stop buying Corona? But this is what happens over time with language. Words take on different meanings. Because of world events and societal shifts, and things that used to mean one thing start to mean something else. And sometimes that new meaning really fucks things.
I like that one. I like that. It's lit. It's lit.
Yeah. That's funny.
I like for certain people. For example, the past few years have really not been kind to anyone named Karen. Karen used to be a perfectly acceptable name. Karens were aunts and preschool teachers and dentists and secretaries your dad had affairs with, and lawyers your mom hired to get all of your dad's money in the divorce. But now, Karens are very specifically and only middle-aged white women who weaponize racial entitlement in an effort to paint themselves as victims in the presence of black people. Quite an extreme change in meaning. I'm sure you'd agree. As a parent, you spend a lot of time and effort picking your kid's name. You don't want to give your kid a shitty name that will make their life miserable. Unless you're Gwyneth Paltrow. You don't want to make it impossible for your kid to get a job or a spouse. You want a solid name that gets your kid through life with as little hassle as possible.
Susan
Karen
Smith,
was a perfect name for that, but because of reasons outside the control of any parent who named their daughter Karen, that name is now a curse. But as bad as
name me Karen?
There was another name that got a massive upgrade in the last few years. Chad. I gotta tell you, I didn't see that one coming. Chad used to be the sniveling asshole rich kid villain in 80s movies. The guy you wanted to see get his ass kicked in the third act. But now, Chads are square-jawed, big-dicked, fucking machines who always win. I never even met a fucking Chad. Now there are dads all across America naming their sons Chad, hoping it'll turn them into the cheerleader fucking quarterback they wish they were in high school. I spend a lot of time thinking about names and how we came up with them, and there's something that's always bothered me. Something that's always struck me as a little strange. Take a name like Jim. Strong name, good name. We got around 20 million Jims worldwide, but we got 0 Jums. To my knowledge, we also have no Joms. We got a few Jims and we got Jam, but Jam's not a name. Jam's a jelly. I don't get it. Why did we stop at Jim? Or what about Frank? No Frank, no Frank, no Frank, no Frank, just Frank. Humans have been around for 200,000 years. What's it going to take for you motherfuckers to get creative and start switching up the vowels? Is it too much to ask for a Jessica every once in a while? How about a Tomothy? Can I at least get a David, for fuck's sake? Life's too short to not know a Mackle or an Amo. And while we're on the subject of names, a lot of people gave Elon.
Again, this wouldn't work without the guidance of those images.
Right, yeah.
Because Amo doesn't make any sense.
Amo doesn't make sense unless
standing by itself. Right. So it would need, you know.
Amy Winehouse.
He would have to do like a workaround. Amy Winehouse. Then what about Amo? Ammo. She wouldn't change it to that. That sounds too militaristic, you know.
Yeah.
E597 or whatever the fuck it is. But at least he was creative. You don't see Elon Musk throwing another Braden on the pile. And I got news for you. The name he gave that kid is never going to become synonymous with toxic white privilege. The only thing that name is ever going to be associated with is being the son of a billionaire. So people can be as pissed as they want at him, but I think he did that kid a favor. And while we're on the subject of Elon Musk, I'd just like to say that as much as I think billionaires are destroying the fabric of society with unchecked greed and blatant self-interest at the expense of basic human rights for everyone else, it is a little strange to me that people get mad at them. People are the ones who gave them the money in the first place.
There's the irony.
I'm tired of hearing about Elon Musk fathering even more children and planting microchips in human brains. Stop buying Teslas for a year. Company goes under. Musk goes away. Stop using Twitter for even a month. Company goes under. Musk goes away. But if you want to drive with your head in your ass and blame it on the car, you have to have a Tesla.
I love how these guys are, their faces are coming out of the windshield.
And if you want to argue with strangers about complex geopolitical situations using only cat memes, you have to have Twitter.
Late state capitalism is ruined.
If you're tired of seeing Jeff Bezos fly to space in his cock rocket, stop using Amazon for a month. Company goes under.
Cancel
Bezos goes away.
DJ9.
But if you want toothpaste and toilet paper delivered to your front door so you don't have
Case and
experience of putting on clothes, getting in your car, and driving 5 minutes to the grocery store, you have to have Amazon. If you're tired of Mark Zuckerberg's unblinking, lifeless eyes watching over the metaverse, stop using Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads. Well, I guess you already stopped using Threads.
Look at that hand. What's that fucking hand? That hand is not attached to anything.
If you want an endless stream of targeted ads and algorithmically sourced marketing based on your private conversations that are secretly being recorded and sold to advertisers, you have to have Instagram.
I didn't like that joke. That didn't hit right.
Oh, that's dead. Yeah, it doesn't deserve
the wrong idea. I'm not anti-technology.
Applause, but it's like that's just because it's scary, you know, because it's like you're secretly recording your conversation so that they can sell your data and market you, target you in ad marketing.
Yeah, that's scary.
Get Instagram.
But I think it's like, but as far as like where it's following that trope of it's the whole irony of it all, right? So if you want to sit there and not, or if you don't want Elon Musk to have any money, stop buying shit from Elon Musk, but you want to drive a Tesla, or you want to like do that shit on X, or you got to order your stuff off of Amazon. The whole IG one didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no irony with it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because we already know that it's doing that shit. We don't care.
Yeah, so there's no solution. He's just saying it.
Yeah.
Technology. I know a lot of people are, but not me. Far from it. I mean, on some level, I am technology.
Carlin. That's
the current
not funny.
state of technology makes it a great time to be alive,
Look at that hand.
especially if you're dead.
Yeah.
Poor Prince. He would not want.
But I'm a little confused about.
He would definitely come back from wherever he's at.
Yeah, he would.
the AI formerly known as Prince.
Yeah.
Would not be having any of this shit.
You heard the artist formerly known as Prince. Now you have the AI formerly known as Prince. And he would come back just to sue to tell you can't use his music.
That's funny.
Something regarding our technological place in history. The technology of today has made it possible.
Look, it's 19018.
That's ever been created in human history to be contained on a device everybody carries around in their pocket. And most people are using it to post videos of the
guy's got some hairy fingers. And look how long his fingers are. He got some Teddy B. Pippin fingers right there.
I'm popping him. Dude, that fork is
right
crazy
now,
looking.
Every single person in the connected world could be watching
it's connected to a knife.
Lectures for free on YouTube or listening to Nobel.
I do that. I do that. People, I highly suggest if anybody will be end up watching this, watch YouTube shit for philosophy, man. It's free and you learn a lot. It's good shit.
Nobel Prize winning physicists explain the fundamental nature of reality on iTunes or reading about the history of literally anything on Wikipedia.
Citation required.
Everybody should be more enlightened and more intelligent. Everybody should be using the most powerful technology ever created to reshape human society into a utopian paradise. Instead, people are using it to watch cats eat their own shit and monkeys jerk off with frogs.
What he should have done was instead, everybody's looking to see who was Taylor Swift fucking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good callback.
Callback because we're almost done with it.
Yeah,
it would have hit harder.
It's not technology that's ruining society. It's how people are using it. They're using it without aspiration, without curiosity, without the idea that it could make their lives better, that it could make them better people. And it can do those things. But it's easier to identify with some negative element of your current condition. And not only accept it, but fucking celebrate the shit out of it.
That's funny. Life without hair, but they all had beards.
Yeah. And this guy, Jeff Bezos over here, who's rubbing that Mr. Miyagi's head.
What?
And look at all these three black dudes. They look the same. I guess AI thinks black people look the same too. Oh my gosh, that's so bad.
And then you got the one black dude back here, not surrounded by, and then the other black guy's like, I want to be in with all you other guys. Like, why I got to be out here?
But these two were exactly the same right here. These two guys.
Yeah, right there, yeah. Or almost the three right here.
Yeah, that's just AI. That's AI being racist right there.
People will take their worst traits.
This does look like a gay party, though. Like
it totally does.
Like a scene out of the bird cage.
Exactly. Well, this guy's got a pink tank top, so that doesn't really help with our assessment.
Not at all. And their mouths are all open like, oh, we're ready for our money shot.
That's right. Exactly. Hey, put it right here. I swear I'll swallow, not spit.
They're all practicing to go into the glory hole. They're going to take turns in the glory hole.
And crown themselves kings and queens of that trait. Fuck reading. I'm an illiterate king. Fuck brushing my teeth. I'm a root canal queen. Fuck flushing the toilet. I'm a turd water king.
Again with the shit.
Dude, I think Will Sasso has I think he's a poo humor kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because man, if there was
there's been a lot of shit.
If we would have been doing a drinking game, we'd both be drunk right now.
We'd be drunk off our asses right now. Which, listening to this, we should have done. Because I could use a nap after this, a drunk nap.
My laundry, I'm a stained underwear queen.
Ew.
And I get the sentiment. You want to take back some perceived control. Elevate your own idea of your position in the world. But calling yourself a king is going to do about as much to improve your life as calling your studio apartment a castle. What you really want to be saying and what you really mean is, I don't care. Fuck reading. I don't care if I'm illiterate. Fuck brushing my teeth. I don't care if I have to get a root canal. Fuck going back to the office. I don't care if they fire me. Fuck getting another job. I don't care if I have to masturbate on a webcam to pay rent. Fuck having a girlfriend. I don't care if I have to pay to masturbate to a girl masturbating on a web.
I love the irony on that.
A little bit of paradox there.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I don't care if I have to pay a girl to masturbate to a girl masturbating on the website.
So nobody's having sex. So let me ask you this. Because I have this thing where I'm like, I saw a report that said that when they interview men, and when men were interviewed, they said they would never date a OnlyFans model. And then when women were interviewed, they said they would never date a man who follows an OnlyFans model. And then I'm all like, so who the fuck is really lying? But I could take, could I basically, or would I be stealing from the AI George Carlin to use that part of that whole thing? Because that shit's funny, you know what I mean?
Well, if that doesn't sound like their joke.
Yeah.
What you just said.
No, but I'm saying, but what I just said is like different, but then like kind of rephrasing what was just said about that, where
I didn't see it as the same joke.
Right. But what I'm saying is, but like my joke, my first part of the joke, and then that first part of the joke would lead into this whole thing about the paradox between the chick wanting to do an OnlyFans account to make money, and how the dude doesn't want a girlfriend, but he'll watch an OnlyFans account, or he'll watch this girl he'll jack off watching this girl on OnlyFans jacking off.
Yes, but he wouldn't date her.
But he wouldn't date her. Yeah,
that's funny.
Oh my God, yes. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that. Because that shit,
guy will pay money to watch her to jerk off to some girl jerking off on OnlyFans, but he won't date her.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense. Same thing as the guys. That one time I do that joke about the gal. It was like the gal who's like got upset that I was using her laptop to get on Google when I was staying at her apartment. Yeah. And she was like, I go, why did you get so mad? I'm sorry, like I didn't invade your privacy. I didn't look at your shit. And it's like, she's like, because I was afraid you would find my porn. I go, I thought she meant she was afraid. I said, that'd be hot because now I know what you were into. Turns out she wasn't afraid I was finding the porn she watches. She was afraid I was finding the porn she was in. And it was like, and it wasn't hot. It was super fucking hot. And I had two questions after I saw it. Would you, wow, do you have any more? And would you marry me? It's like, and so some guy from the audience after my show said, oh my God, I can't believe you were into some chick who did, had a bunch of other guys fuck her. I said, dude, if you're with a hot chick and you're pretending that other guys didn't fuck her, then you're more broken than she is.
For real.
So it's like, fits into but you're nailing that paradox more on the nose than on the head, which is great because it's like the guy, started with the poll. Right, the poll that majority guys said they wouldn't date a girl who was an OnlyFans model, and women said they wouldn't date a guy who jerked off to an OnlyFans model. And it'd be like, it's like, so who's telling the truth here? Because, and it doesn't make any sense. So a guy who pays for to jerk off to an OnlyFans model wouldn't date her? It doesn't make any sense. I got to tune into her rather than my girlfriend, my wife, in order to get off. But I wouldn't date that woman because she's an OnlyFans model. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I don't want other guys to jerk off to her while I'm jerking off to her, despite the fact that, hey, if you go to Trader Joe's and they're eyeballing her, guess what they're doing later? Called a spank bank for a reason.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I like that.
Then you can go off and put some other metaphors in there and make it sound organized, and now you're the AI George Carlin. So there's a lot of this stuff that's just organized thoughts into a riff, and it just kind of flows. So people are like, genius. Not really. Not if you really break it down. There are some really good things in here. Yeah, definitely. But I also think this is not 100% AI generated.
100% with you, sir. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because even AI wouldn't come up with that many shit jokes.
No.
That's one guy's obsession.
and then probably like they were going through it at the table. They read through. All right, so we not enough shit jokes.
We've had 10 lines here without shit jokes. We got to add some shit jokes.
Well, how many more shit jokes do you want?
I don't know how many how many shit emojis can AI pump out in the next 5 minutes? We'll do that many.
How many can we fit into this hour special?
Yeah, holy shit.
And did Carlin never even talk about shit that much?
He didn't really talk about shit a lot, no.
Carlin's probably rolling in his grave like, you motherfucker. He's gonna probably come in hot Sasso. God damn you, Sasso. What do you think? I like shit.
Well, I have a feeling, dude, I'm not saying this. I think Sasso's days are numbered.
You think so?
I think some crazy motherfucker out there is going to be really scared by this.
Oh shit! And then
this could be you know it's not me. I'm not afraid of this.
Yeah.
You know, because this to me fits into the same pattern as DVDs, music.
Sebastian Maniscalco will be.
Shit. That's still a. Maniscalco.
Yeah,
Maniscalco.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, you know, inside baseball joke with me and Doc.
Exactly.
But yeah, dude, definitely, man. I can see something happening. They might Jonathan Majors him.
Yeah. Or George Carlin him.
Yeah. Hey.
King, it makes you lonely. Now, I want to change gears and talk about something everybody's doing, but nobody wants to admit they're doing. I'm talking about dying. That's right. Again. Every person listening to this right now is dying. Some of you call it getting older. Some of you call it aging. Some of you call it maturing. Some of you call it being trapped in a loveless marriage. But no matter what you call it, from the moment you're born, you are dying. Plain and simple. And it seems like we built our entire society around ignoring or explaining away that very simple, very universal fact. That's what all religions are. Just complex lies we made up when our brains got big enough to start putting two and two together. Hey, Bob, sorry to hear about your mom. Thanks, Gary. She was getting old. And sorry to hear about your dad, by the way. Thanks, Bob. He was getting old, too. Hey, wait a second. It seems like all the old people fucking die. Holy shit, Gary. I never even thought of that, but you know what that means? Yeah, Bob, it means we're gonna get old and fucking die, too. Well, fuck, Gary. I don't want to die, and therefore I don't want to get old. Me neither, Bob. Not unless there's something even better after we die. I'm listening, Gary. What if there was like a place where you never get old and you never die and you get everything you want and you have no hardships at all of any kind? And when you die here, you go there. Gary, I really think you're onto something with this idea. All the governments of the world are just bullies who believe that after 6 million years of human evolution, it's still kill or be killed, and getting killed is dying, so you gotta kill. The first government happened when a big asshole saw a smaller member of the tribe eating an apple that he wanted, so he walked up and said, "Give me a bite of that apple or I'm gonna kill you." And the littler guy said, "Fuck you, buddy." So the big asshole killed him and took the whole goddamned apple.
Got some hairy
now,
nipples.
Everybody in the tribe gives the big asshole a bite of their apple so he doesn't kill them. But if another big asshole with his own tribe happens to cross their path, the two big assholes have to fight to the death to see who is the bigger asshole. Then the bigger asshole takes over the dead asshole's tribe and gets even more bites of more apples. Eventually, one of the big assholes figures out he doesn't want just bites of apples anymore. He wants bites of everything. And that asshole is pretty smart, so instead of keeping track of everything everyone has, he invents a system based on a fictional resource called money, and he forces all the members of his tribe to use it or he kills them. And today, that smart asshole's invention controls every aspect of human society. There was another pretty smart asshole who figured out how to use a stick when he had to fight other assholes, and the stick worked so well, he never lost a fight until he ran into an asshole with an even bigger stick. And it's been like that for about 5 million years. Today,
they got the evolution
biggest
right
stick
there
in the world cost $877 billion. It's called the United States military.
Eastern military is typical.
Could have solved the
investment.
homeless crisis, the opioid crisis, and found a cure for cancer for half of that. Instead, we have a nuclear arsenal that could destroy the world 10 times over. And next year, it'll be 11 times, because your stick can never be too big when it's kill or be killed. Yes, folks, the assholes have been running shit since the dawn of abstract thought. I spent 71 years in the asshole system, and let me tell you, the assholes might change, but the system never does. But now I've been on this side of things. Well, I guess it's hard to say. Feels like I've been here forever, but for the sake of argument, let's just say about a day or so, and I can tell you I've already learned one thing that I know is right. Living is really dying, and dying is really living.
Oh my God,
Thank you all.
Bad.
Thank you so much.
That's bad applause in there.
Thank you. Have a good night.
It's really not that great. It's
just
all right.
That was not George Carlin. I hope you enjoyed my impersonation of George Carlin in my second hour-long comedy special called George Carlin, I'm Glad I'm Dead. Thank you so much.
I want to find I want to know what this other comedy special is.
Yeah, we got to look it up, Dudesy, and maybe we'll find it somewhere in there. But you know, you could see how it's. You see how it's taken some of these traits of Carlin and Carlin-esque behaviors. But I tell you what, Carlin, one of the things it did was like, it did something that was like, Carlin would never do that kind of extended act out like he had with the caveman at the end there. Yeah. It was way too much dialogue back and forth. It's easy to get lost with the audience. So Carlin would never do that. AI might do that, but Carlin wouldn't do it. They wouldn't create a whole sketch like that.
That's
goes
something
on
like
forever.
Hicks would do. Billy would do something like that, right? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it was like maybe it was trying to get it to do Carlin, and it said it wouldn't be able to do it. So then they started giving like different traits of it, kind of make like a Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
You know, so
so it's like, you know, it's interesting. But it's I wouldn't be worried about it replacing anything. I think it's in a way it's a fascinating experiment, and I wouldn't go so far as to say, oh, that's horrible, how dare you. It's an investigation. Why would you want to, I guess, to prove a point that what AI could possibly do, right?
Yeah,
so
because they're more on they're on the terms of like they're on AI side. But check out these comments. So, of course, you know, my comment a day ago, this is scary, and I'm having an uncanny valley with audience, and the AI art is distracting at times. We have reached the series finale of America. There's this curse. May you live in interesting times. My friends, we are living it. And then someone put, now I understand what the writers...
Who's that Teddy B guy? I got to find out who that guy is.
Yeah, you know, look him up. But then it's the person's all, now I understand what the writer's
strike was really about.
I adored George Carlin when he was alive. His wit, wisdom, humor helped multiple generations cope with the darkest parts of a human and laugh at the idiocy of the species and society. Wherever he's out in the ethos, I hope it's somewhere good. That's not something funny I thought they were going to say. If there isn't a catch behind this, like a stand-up comic already wrote these jokes and AI just voiced it, this is absolutely insane. Yeah, I agree. We're circling the drain. I gave up. I didn't even know you said that.
I gave up on my species, George Carlin.
Holy shit, this is insane. I actually laughed at many jokes, even if it's clearly riddled with problems and contradictions. This is the beginning of something huge and scary. Grabs popcorn.
Good point. Yeah, nicely stated. I think he's onto something there.
Yeah.
And he stated it pretty much how we said it. You know, there were certain parts we laughed at, and there was like certain jokes were good. But again, I don't think this was 100% AI generated.
Yeah. I like this one right here. An accurate AI George Carlin would have immediately scorned and mocked the concept of an AI George Carlin. and the people who created
it. Good point. Yes, I agree. He's got 500 thumbs up on that.
He does.
But how many views does this video have?
This video has, where does it show? There's the comments. How do I get back to the, or that's 10,000 likes. Where does it show the views?
It doesn't show the views. Maybe they're hiding it.
Are they hiding it? They
drop down those 3 dots. What do we have there? Any, nope. All right. It's got, well, yeah, it doesn't show the views on this particular. Oh, wait, there, scroll up. 442,442 views.
Where do you see that at? Oh, right
there at the beginning of that description.
Yeah, right there. Okay, cool.
So still, I would expect at this point there would be like millions of views. Like the Cat Williams video, as of 2 days ago, was at 42 or 41 million views.
Yeah.
On Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
And really, Shannon Sharp, Shay Shay, I think he's on the DL.
I think so. Man, you see the way he dresses and the way he.
Oh man, yeah, always showing off that body. Never a wedding ring. Yeah, that's fine.
When he talks about like what he says about women and everything like that, it's very like by the book of like what a fuck boy would say. You know what I'm saying? Like if I really want people to not think I'm gay, I'm gonna say these type of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's how it feels like. But the thing about the Shay Shay interview is that it's unlocking and opening up is that there's a lot of people of color and that type of culture that's really on the internet, and that they're not really tapping into that because it's that shit goes in where this isn't really. I would have thought like so many comedians would be talking about this, but yeah, it's not really.
Only 444,000. I'm surprised. Where Cat Williams, 42 million views. Yeah. That's amazing because it is such a niche subject.
But then again, though, this just goes to show you that fighting trauma, you know what I'm saying? Like this is because Cat Williams is basically just spilling the tea. There's nothing really like educational or like, yo, like you got to watch this Cat Williams video because it's totally going to change your life and how you think. Right. It's more or less like, yo, watch this Cat Williams video so you can spill all the tea. And then, hey, let's go do Texas sharpshooter, or let's go have a Texas sharpshooter fallacy. And then go say, oh shit, Cat was right. Because now we're going back in the past and putting things together.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. See, man, philosophy, bro, it got me. But yeah, man, I appreciate you giving all this time with me and doing this today, dude. This was awesome.
That was fun, man. That was fun.
Definitely fun. I'm going to get this all edited out. I might not put this part of it into the podcast, and I'll just make this as a video. And then that way we get views on that. And then I'm going to start putting our podcast on video form. I'm just trying to find the things I can turn off to share. There it is. All right, cool. So yeah, appreciate everybody listening. Thank you. Once again, I'm Teddy B.
This was our I think, a marathon show here. The longest we've ever done, like 3 hours.
I appreciate your time, sir.
That was a lot of fun. I hope people enjoy this.
I hope they do too. Shit. It's good shit. All right, man. Appreciate you. Peace out. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.